Let's talk about another mistake landlords make, which is not having reserves. What do you need reserves for outside of the obvious to, pay for
Sure,
like your mortgage?
sure. So, if you own a residential duplex, single family, property, residential property, at some point the roof is going to need to be replaced. And in some cases, insurance will get involved, but it's never free. So a roof's probably your biggest expense you need to have a reserve for when the time comes. Now a hurricane can come, and that's a totally separate topic. But you have a roof that's 10 to 15 years old. You're probably five or so years out, just as a guesstimate of when you'll need to be getting close to replacing a roof. On a side note, needing reserves obviously, but also be careful to stop doing a lot of patchwork on roofs. Patchwork does not work long term. It just doesn't. Patchwork and then a afternoon summer storm, there goes your patchwork and the money you put into it. So you're better. I mean, in some cases, people don't have the resources, but that's what we're talking about. Have a reserve so you have the money to replace the roof when the time comes, and before it springs a bunch of leaks and you got drywall damage and potentially issues in the wall with mold and mildew. So roof's the biggest reserve issue. The other thing is if you have a septic system, and now some properties will have city sewer and then you avoid that whole headache. But at some point, if you have a sewer, there's a chance that you have to replace it. Now that's not on all properties, but in most cases, at some point, whether it's 30 years down the road, you're going to need a new drain field.
Yeah.
And that's 7-8 grand roughly, depending on some factors, and it could be even more.
We just got a quote in North Fort Myers for replacement, and it was, well, I got 4 bids, and it was 10.5 to 11.5, and the bids are hilarious because the 10.5 guy is not actually including the electrical in it, where the 11.5 guy is, and there's the 10.5 guy was no electrical, no sod. You wanted a drain field.
Oh yeah. The thing too is to get those estimates. It's you want to have a reserve. The point of that obviously is to have a reserve for it. Because once you get estimates, to get an estimate, an accurate one, you have to open up a ticket or a permit with the city or with the health department. Health department. So they're involved. So you're exposed at that point. If you're opening a permit up, that means there's septic issues. So at that point, you have to do something. So you just have the reserves to handle it when the time comes. And if you own property with it, for example, duplexes have a bigger septic tank typically. They'll have a shared tank.